22 West.
We are 22 West Radio, the next wave of K-Beach. 22 West Radio is 22westmedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, 22 West Radio proudly presents our World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And for the 60th time, welcome to Beyond the Ropes. Big episode for us. Jam-packed episode, obviously 60 episodes, so much to go through. Of course, we are always on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes.
Yes.
We are currently on you now with the hashtag.
Ask questions.
And we are on Live Me.
Yes.
And how do they find us there?
Live Pro Wrestling Talk Show.
Awesome. So much has happened in the world of pro wrestling this week. Let's just get right into it with the biggest announcement of the week. Starting on Monday Night Raw, we had Vince McMahon in the center of the ring with a crowd of WWE superstars, essentially the entire roster from Monday Night Raw, and the entire women's division from Raw and SmackDown. Then they were introduced. Vince McMahon introduced Stephanie and Triple H, and we got to hear for several minutes, Triple H kind of discuss the roster and how there's really a strong bond between them, and he invited all the women to step forward, and then we had Stephanie McMahon officially announce the all-women's pay-per-view, the first ever WWE all-women's pay-per-view, titled Evolution, which will take place on October 28th in the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, which will feature over 50 women then, now, and forever, and will feature the Raw Women's Championship being defended, the SmackDown Women's title being defended, and the NXT Women's Championship being defended, as well as the finals of the Mae Young Classic taking place that night.
Ronda Rousey clearly signed at the right time.
Absolutely, she did. This is a big step for, the women's division and WWE. Obviously, a couple of months ago, we had the Greatest Royal Rumble take place, and there was a lot of controversy because, women weren't allowed to compete or even appear at that event.
I think they're trying to ask, who's your favorite diva?
Superstar. Currently, thank you for those questions on Live Me. My current favorite female superstar, is probably Alexa Bliss right now.
Oh, yeah.
She's currently the Raw Women's Champion, so, and she might head to that pay-per-view as champion, maybe not. We'll find out, which we'll get into that a little bit later when we discuss SummerSlam. But, the Women's Evolution pay-per-view, it's a big deal. As we mentioned, there's been rumors the last couple of months, that the women would get their own show because of the Greatest Royal Rumble, controversy and such. And it's long overdue.
Oh, yeah. It's only right, considering that event happened.
Absolutely. We get the women to kind of get their own spotlight. You could tell on that stage that they were all very excited and very happy to be, there. As we mentioned, it's going to feature over 50 women. Then, now, and forever, it has been confirmed that Trish Stratus, Lita, and Beth Phoenix all will be there in some capacity. Whether they have a match or not, but they will be there, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty more. An interesting thing that I really liked was the fact that NXT is going to have a presence there because the NXT Women's title will be defended. So we might see some NXT superstars as well in that show.
Probably the 4 Horsewomen.
Maybe the 4 Horsewomen. That's definitely a rumor that's come over the last couple of days.
And if there's any rumored new women's championship belts, that's the best place to present them.
The women's tag team titles are what you're talking about, and that has been rumored. Apparently, this past week I saw that there was actually designs being made. I'm not sure when that announcement. I think Stephanie McMahon was apparently interviewed about possible women's tag team titles, and she said it's probably going to happen very soon. But there has yet to be an announcement. I'm sure that's exactly where they might have um, either that tournament or the finals of that tournament. And those titles would likely be defended all throughout Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. Obviously, since they are tag team. So a big step for the women's division. Any matches you want to see? Like, any predictions? I know it's still very early, but
I mean, I know that earlier there was talk about having another type competition named in honor of another female, but maybe within there could be something extra. I mean, yes, they have the Mae Young, but there was talk about either something for Moolah or something for Sensational Sherry.
I wouldn't, maybe a battle royal
Yeah.
of some sorts. Yeah, because I mean, you have the finals of that tournament already. I wouldn't know unless it could be the tag team tournament that they title it, of Legend. So
Oh yeah.
who knows? But yeah, Evolution has been discussed all throughout the week. And congratulations to all the women in WWE that will be participating in that. I know we're looking forward to it, as are many people.
Thank you so far to 25 people already that are in here.
There you go. Thank you to 25 people on Live Me that have been checking us out. And thank you to everyone on YouNow, if you have anyone there.
Oh yeah, we have people coming into the room.
Thank you very much. So, Evolution was the biggest announcement of the week, no doubt. But there was another major release this past Monday. And it was the release of the Walk with Elias album.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say somebody got fired. I'm like, oh no.
No, hopefully not. We don't wish that upon anyone.
Oh man.
But no, the album release of Elias's debut album. It's an EP featuring 4 songs, and I had the opportunity to listen to the album a couple of times.
Somebody said I had to show love before I went to sleep.
Oh, thank you very much. Where are you from? Let us know. Let us know where you're from. We appreciate the fan interaction. But yes, getting back to the WWE Walk with Elias EP, featured 4 songs. One of them, the opening track titled "The Ballad of Every Town I've Ever Been To." The second track, Elias's Words. The third one, Nothing I Can't Do. And the last track on that EP, Walk With Me. I believe the first one is my favorite, The Ballad of Every Town I've Ever Been To. Essentially, he mentions several towns and kind of just says, I've met so many stupid people and I want to punch them in the face. That's like literally the entire chorus, and it's hilarious. And Elias just sounds great throughout the entire EP. In one of them, Nothing I Can't Do, he actually plays piano in that one, saying there's nothing I can't do, including playing piano. So it's pretty incredible. You mentioned before the show that you were watching that Bourbon Street performance that Elias gave. I saw that too. It's exclusively on the WWE Network, but of course they always have it on YouTube. Just search up Elias Live on Bourbon Street. I'm sure you can find it. But he performs a couple of songs off of that EP. And at the end, we found out that Elias is going to have his own network special following Monday Night Raw this upcoming Monday, where they're going to show the making of the Walk with Elias album.
I mean, that's having a lot of faith in him to let him be in the network like that.
They're giving a major spotlight to Elias. I want to mention something before I forget, that the Walk with Elias EP actually peaked at number 6 on the iTunes chart, but like the overall charts. So he was up there with some of the biggest names. That's a very big deal for Elias, for a debut of any kind, and so that's very exciting to see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this upcoming documentary on the network. This past Monday on Raw, he actually was trying to get a performance in, and there was about 3 or 4 times where he was on the stage getting ready to perform, and he kept getting interrupted by someone. And so finally at the end, he got to perform part of his song until he was once again interrupted by, I believe it was Bobby Lashley. But it was really cool. They got to promote the Elias album, and it's good for him. I mean, ideally, it would be great to see him as a champion, but he's getting a push in a different direction, and it's, peaking at the iTunes charts, getting his own network special. I mean, what more could you want? A very successful gimmick that in NXT wasn't very successful, but in WWE main roster on Monday Night Raw, it is turning out to be one of the biggest and most successful things to come out of that show. So, you mentioned you haven't heard the album yet, right?
No, but some of those songs I think were already on the.
Yeah, some of them are on the EP, so you did hear a couple of those songs.
They're pretty heel-like for sure.
They're definitely within his character, which is really cool. I would like to hear, because he mentioned on A Table for Three, I don't know if you saw it with Jeff Jarrett and Road Dogg. Okay, well, check that out. He mentioned that he actually covered a couple of Billy Joel songs, but those songs aren't on this EP. I don't know if they're gonna save them for another EP or another album, or maybe they just didn't make the cut.
I mean, that's pretty cool, because considering I didn't know that when Fozzy first started, they were a cover band. They got signed that way.
Yeah, they were doing different stuff, different songs from other bands, and then obviously they kind of branched out into their own. And obviously Fozzy, if you don't know, is Chris Jericho's band, legendary in-ring performer and current IWGP Intercontinental Champion.
It's something how they asked him a question on social media about he'd be at a certain Ring of Honor event.
Oh really? What did he say?
He was like, and then he says, of course.
Huh.
But I don't know, maybe he's just playing around with the fans.
He always likes to mess around with the fans on social media, kind of tease things, and start rumors. But yeah, Walk with Elias. Go get that EP. It's available on iTunes and Spotify, and I believe Apple Music. So go give it a listen if you don't want to purchase it. It's available on YouTube on WWE's YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out there. Another big debut. So we got the major announcement of the women's pay-per-view. We got the debut of the Elias album. And we got the debut of the now hit television series on the USA Network, Ms. and Mrs.
I heard the ratings did pretty good.
It was the highest rated debut for the USA Network of an unscripted show since 2011. So it's been 7 years, since they've had those type of ratings for a new show.
It's pretty interesting considering that apparently Total Divas ratings is going down.
Right, and that's on the E Network. So I believe they might be connected to the USA Network. I'm pretty sure there's some connection there. Could be wrong. But yeah, I got to see the show. I thought it was a great show. Great start to the episode. They started off with Miz and Maurice kind of discussing how they met. Which was the Diva Search in 2006, when Maurice was a contestant and the Miz was a judge, and that's how they met. And then it goes into kind of their current day, where Maurice is 8 months pregnant with Monroe Sky, their daughter, and it starts off with them going to a photo shoot, and there's some miscommunication. So Miz thinks that it's a nude photo shoot, and so he shows up nude, and it's a hilarious scene. You have to watch it to really get that amazing comedic effect. But it worked out well for them. We also got to see them kind of on the road as they're preparing to leave Los Angeles and head to Houston, Texas, which is their new home. And they kind of teased that Maurice was going to give birth at a WWE show, which I believe was in Anaheim, because they showed the Honda Center, which is right here, just a few miles over here in Anaheim, a few miles from us. But a fun little show. Fun. It's only 30 minutes. Unfortunately, I think it should be it should get the Total Divas treatment, which is an hour, because I think Miz and Maurice definitely have that chemistry. Obviously, they're married, but they have that on-screen charisma that not too many people might have. And so, in the next episode, we're going to be seeing them, or at least throughout the season, we're going to be seeing them move from LA to Houston, as well as the birth of Monroe Sky, their daughter. And so, I think we should be heading for a break. So we'll be right back and we'll discuss more of this week in WWE.
Did you know that 71% of students at Long Beach State receive financial aid? In 2016, Long Beach State awarded $12.3 million in scholarships. Not only that, each year more than 1,500 students are served by the Civil Student Services, leaving no barriers in their path to an education. At the beach, we know no barriers. It's a philosophy that applies to everything we do.
1 in 5 students on CSU campuses experience food insecurity while in college, according to a study commissioned by CSU Chancellor Timothy White. The Associated Student Beach Pantry operates as an official food pantry for Long Beach State students. The pantry provides non-perishable food items for students in need. Also housed in the beach pantry is the Student Swap Shop program, aimed at providing students with an opportunity to swap unneeded or old school supplies. The Student Beach Pantry exists on the generous donations of students, staff, community, and corporate giving. To donate, visit asicssulb.org and search Beach Pantry.
Before we get into the new school year, it's time to have one last night of summer fun. Smorgasbord is back Friday, August 24th. Starting from 7 p.m., we'll have parking lot E2 decked out with carnival rides, huge inflatables, great music, and awesome games.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and don't forget about the food trucks. Admission will be free for all CSULB students with your student ID.
Obviously, I think this is
The
a
first
really
1,000
good thing.
students will get a free shirt, so make sure to be there.
That Chris Brown
Don't
song
miss
had a
out on the
curse
best
word.
smorgasbord
That's
gift.
supposed to be a
For more
commercial
information,
for
go
how
to
to play it, apparently. What happened?
asicsculb.org.
That Chris Brown song had a curse word.
Oh,
We're not
really?
supposed to. Yeah, right now.
Hey. And we are back with episode 60 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
Oh, Rob.
And as always, we are on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes.
Yes.
And we are currently on with the hashtag.
Ask questions.
And on Live Me, they can find us how?
Live pro wrestling talk show.
Awesome. As always, you can find us on YouTube. Search up Rob Flores Media and Beyond the Ropes. Just
Yeah.
find us there. On Twitter, you can find me at EthanEnvy95 and Rob.
Rob Flores Media.
There we go. So we discussed kind of my favorite things of the week. The Women's Evolution pay-per-view. The Elias album. And Ms. and Mrs. Let's get into some wrestling talk, shall we?
Thank you for tuning in. I see more people coming in.
Thank
Somebody
you for
named Little Miss Piggy. Maybe
Oh.
Kermit will be there too.
Thank you very much. NXT. You and I both saw it.
Oh, yeah.
correct? Big show. A very big show. It started off with the North American champion. We're going to get to the main event, but we're going to go in order. Started off with the North American champion, Adam Cole, Bebe, taking on Cruiserweight Classic competitor, Sean Maluda. And in quick fashion, Cole defeated the CWC alumni, hitting that last shot knee to the head of Maluda. After the match, he pretty much said he could fight and defeat anyone. And then he got interrupted by the one and only Ricochet, who challenged him to a match
Wow.
at Brooklyn for the next NXT TakeOver. Cole, however, opted out, left the ring, as his teammates Strong and O'Reilly came out to kind of back him up. We then got the War Raiders music, who then kind of pushed them back to the center of the ring. And then as Undisputed Era were looking to find another way out, they were met by Mustache Mountain, Trent Seven, and Tyler Bate. And it was just an assault to the Undisputed Era. And it looks like Undisputed Era has been making a lot of enemies over the last several months. So I'm wondering how that's going to lead into Brooklyn 4 in August. So next up, I believe we had the contract signing for the NXT Women's Championship.
William Regal looks so aged.
He was gone for a couple of months due to illness, and he definitely looks a lot older. I don't know what happened. This was the first time he's appeared on NXT TV in months, probably since February or March, maybe even before then. But yeah, he definitely looks a lot older. So I mean, he appeared on NXT TV, so hopefully that's a good sign that he's doing better. But yeah, it looks like it took a toll on him. But glad to see him back on TV. I was wondering how long he was going to be out, because it's been a few months. But he was there conducting the contract signing for the NXT Women's Championship between the current champion Shayna Baszler and the winner of the inaugural Mae Young Classic, Kairi Sane. They brought up their history in the Mae Young Classic where Sane defeated Baszler, but Baszler made sure to bring up the fact that she also defeated Sane a couple months ago on an NXT television taping. So they're currently 1-on-1, and their rubber match will take place in Brooklyn. Essentially, Kairi Sane has kind of repeated herself, saying she knows and Shayna knows that Kairi can beat her. So they signed a contract, and it looks like it's going to be official.
I don't know if she'll beat her. Like,
Who?
The
Kairi?
yeah.
You
the
don't think?
pirate one?
Yeah, Kairi Sane.
I,
You have doubts? I don't know. I feel like it could go either way.
I'd rather see Belair as champion.
Well, she's currently injured, we found out. She was interviewed and said that she'll be back rehabbing, but she's currently out. I would not be surprised if Baszler retains and loses the title at Evolution, which is in October, so it's about 2 months after the Brooklyn pay-per-view. But who knows, and maybe they have their rematch there again, or she'll fight someone else. But I feel like Baszler will lose the title either at Brooklyn, and if she doesn't lose it there, it'll be at Evolution. But we'll see. We'll give our predictions in a couple of weeks. We still have about 3 weeks till our SummerSlam / Takeover Brooklyn predictions episode, so we'll discuss it more then. But after the fact, Baszler was walking backstage and actually was confronted by Candice LeRae. LeRae didn't like the comments that Baszler made of her during that contract signing, so it looks like we might see a match between those two in the coming weeks. Next up in women's action, we had Lacey Evans take on someone, I did not remember her name, so I apologize, but she took on, I assume, someone either from the Performance Center. And she won with the women's right. So Lacey Evans has been picking up a couple of victories, making herself a legitimate contender for that women's championship. Next up, I believe it was the main event, correct? Did I miss any matches? Next week it was announced that we will have EC3 take on Kona Reeves.
That was something. I think there was a backstage thing I saw. Was it the week prior?
It was a couple of weeks. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but yeah.
They could be the best of friends.
Right, but EC3 was not buying that, and he's not interested in Kona Reeves'
It would have been a good tag team. I mean, the styles of like privileged rich.
I mean, their gimmicks are similar to that point, but it's also like, I believe even EC3 mentioned it. It's like the dollar store version of EC3 when it comes to Kona Reeves. I'm still not buying the Kona Reeves character. I don't know what they need to do. Maybe change his ring gear. It feels like he's wearing that old school ring gear that should not be used anymore. And then his chains do look cheap. I mean,
I don't know. He was all like, "How many pizza tickets or whatever?"
right? How many did you get to get those chains? I mean, there's just nothing about him that I'm buying right now. And I don't see him picking up the victory against EC3. I believe EC3 is probably going to feud with Velveteen Dream at TakeOver, because they showed that footage from last month's UK show where Dream left EC3. So
Dream had a good promo.
last week, that
Yeah.
was incredible. That kind of, it was a green screen, but it was an amazing use of it. Where he kind of went through his career as a Velveteen Dream, discussing his highlights. And so Velveteen Dream is definitely someone to look out for, and hopefully on the main roster he really branches out even further. But next up, we're going to discuss one of the best matches on NXT in Full Sail in a long time, probably, taking place between Aleister Black and Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT Championship. Very rarely do we get a NXT title match on NXT in Full Sail, so this was a big deal. And very rarely do we ever get a title change, but that is exactly what happened. After a stellar match, Tommaso Ciampa had the NXT Championship in his hand, and was going to use it until Johnny Gargano, his former tag team partner and bitter rival, came out to try and stop the match, and essentially accidentally hit Aleister Black with the NXT title, and was thrown out of the ring by Ciampa, and Ciampa was able to pick up the victory by hitting a new finish maneuver that I have yet to see on Black. And the referee counted 1, 2, 3, and in complete shock from the Full Sail crowd, we got ourselves a new NXT champion by the name of Tommaso Ciampa.
Wow, this is really something, but I feel like there could be different outcomes here.
There are a number of outcomes here. There could be a triple threat match of Brooklyn, which I'm predicting. It could be.
What if it's all a plan, a heel plan? And the next time that Johnny goes, Johnny does help Ciampa.
I don't see it. The rivalry is too embedded, is too big at this point for just a heel turn for Johnny. I don't see it going that direction.
Unexpected.
It'd be unexpected, but I don't think they need that with that storyline. The title change was the unexpected part. That was the part that's kind of unexpected. And I feel like Brooklyn, there needs to be a triple threat.
And another problem I had with that spot that they did is, when someone does a super kick, you'd expect it to be sold really well. And, it's supposed to be a move that just takes you out. Mm-hmm. And it was just kind of like a brief tickle to Ciampa. He just, goes on one knee and touches his chin briefly.
Well, these days a super kick is used for...
beyond too much. And that's the problem.
The Young Bucks... It's the entire moveset, the super kick.
At least theirs, it's it puts you down.
Well, if you see some of their matches, that's not always the case. But, Seth Rollins uses a super kick a number of times in matches. Dolph uses a super kick. I mean, that's technically his finishing maneuver now. But a lot of guys use super kicks these days as just kind of a striking move, more so than a finishing. So
that move is really something. But speaking of moves, I did not know that Taz recently spoke about how he's taking credit for naming the T-bone. He says that too many people are using it now, though.
I haven't heard anything of that.
He says because he loves T-bone steaks, and so does everybody else.
Well, that's an interesting take. I haven't heard anything about that. Yeah, so that's some big news coming out of NXT. A lot of uncertainty when it comes to the Brooklyn pay-per-view. But it's something to look forward to. Did you catch 205 Live this week?
Yeah, new title change, right? Was it a title change or something like that? Or, no, contender, right?
There was a contender.
Yeah.
I did not catch it. I'm behind again 2
Gulag.
weeks. I'm always falling behind. Gulak is a new number one contender?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's going to win the title.
Although I didn't like that he got the victory over Tommy.
Who?
Hideo Tommy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that kills his momentum.
Well, also it's a heel pinning a heel, which, yeah, I'll go back and watch that match. But so Gulak's a new number one contender for the cruiserweight title. Good for him.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna win it.
Oh yeah, especially because he has
Do we know it's taking place?
Kendrick and Gentleman Jack on this side.
Well, even without them, I think it's just time for a new champion. Cedric won the title at WrestleMania. Do we know when's that's gonna take place?
No, not yet.
Because they've left the Cruiserweight Championship off of pay-per-views since WrestleMania. They've been just defending it on 205 Live, kind of keeping it in its own thing. But SummerSlam is the next pay-per-view, and that is a major pay-per-view, so I would assume that the Cruiserweights would have some type of presence there.
Have you seen Gregory Helms' post when they announced the Evolution pay-per-view?
Oh yeah, was where he dressed up, right?
Or he knows a gal.
Right, he knows
a guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there were a number of things coming out of that pay-per-view announcement.
Oh my gosh, what if Santina shows up for this
That's
one?
not gonna happen. They would not do that. Are you kidding me? That would just ruin the entire. They would just ruin the entire thing. There's a reason James Ellsworth got fired on SmackDown this week. So they would ensure that he's not anywhere near that pay-per-view. WWE has made that mistake before, and I don't think they will do it again. It would just ruin the legitimacy of, the woman. Just total disrespect. But should we take another break here?
Yeah.
Let's regroup here, and then we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Affordable, professional, and located on the second floor of the USU. Electric Hair has all of your nail and hair needs covered. For an appointment, call 562-958-4522. That's 562-958-4522.
According to the Pacific Institute, in 2015, half of the water used by the typical California home went for landscaping. Water-hungry gardens can contribute to drought and the depletion of one of our most essential resources. Choosing locally native, drought-resistant plants can help conserve water and lower water bills. These plants are able to flourish with little water and despite high temperatures, requiring low maintenance. To find a list of drought-resistant plants native to your region, visit cnps.org. This message has been brought to you by the Environmental Nature Center.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
Hey, I'm Rob Flores, the host of the Golden Spotlight. Join me as I showcase a variety of guests.
I am what they refer to as an exoneree.
Hi, I'm Carla Perez, otherwise known as Rita Repulsa, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, a television series.
As people have told me before, you're really funny, you should try stand-up. And that's probably how every comedian starts.
Took an EMT course 6 months later, and the next thing I know, I was a firefighter.
I do all my own music videos.
Is it at you or me?
It's
I write the concept for the most part. I direct the filming of it, etc. So I have a blast with it.
Every week,
All
someone
these
steps into the
usernames.
spotlight, and it's always a new story. So join me every Monday at 2 p.m. on 22 West Radio. You never know what we have in store.
And we are back with the 60th edition of Beyond the Ropes. I'm Ethan.
I'm Rob.
And as always, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. We are currently on you now with the hashtag
Ask questions.
And we are currently online, Live Me.
Yes, a live pro wrestling radio show.
You can find us on YouTube at Rob Flores Media, or just search up Beyond the Ropes. And of course, twitter.com/EthanNB95 or
Rob Flores Media.
we talked about kind of the major stories I wanted to discuss this week. I want to run something by you, but we'll discuss it after the show or whatever. Something to kind of, we're always looking to revamp our show, change it up, do some new things. So I wanted to do something with our Facebook page, but we'll discuss it afterwards. We have SummerSlam to discuss. It's happening in 3-4 weeks. I don't know. It gets lost, but matches were announced this week. The main matches were announced this week.
For once, Brock Lesnar gets to, show up.
Yeah. I completely agree. For once, Brock actually gets to show up and compete. He will show up this Monday on Raw. It has been confirmed. But we found out his number one contender is Roman Reigns. So, I mean, at this point, I'm just like, can we just have this happen already so we don't have to see it anymore? Can we just take the title off Brock already?
How many times has Reigns already fought Brock?
In a singles match, this is the 4th time. This is the 6th time in a multi-man match, including a singles match. But if you're including WrestleMania 31, I was there for that actually, which was really fun. WrestleMania 34 was this year, yeah. And the Greatest Royal Rumble. This will be the 4th time in the
I
singles.
feel like Bobby Lashley's been cheated.
I don't know. I don't know what Bobby Lashley's doing next. He's not in any feud, and unless he gets some type of feud, I could see him vouch for himself to be involved in this match, considering he does have a victory over Reigns at Extreme Rules.
Plus, it was a cage. I mean, that's even far more impressive than a singles victory. Right? He had a cage match with him, no?
No, it was just a singles match.
No, at a pay-per-view, no?
Who?
Wasn't there a cage match version too that they were gonna have?
Lashley and Reigns?
Yeah.
No. That was Owens and Strowman that had a cage match.
Oh.
Lashley and Roman have only faced each other in 2 singles matches. So they each have a victory on one.
Yeah, they need to have a tiebreaker.
Or they both are in that match at SummerSlam. Arguably, Bobby Lashley could say, but if that's the case, if Bobby Lashley is added to that match, I don't see Lesnar losing.
Because another thing that was pointed out was if Bobby wins, it brings up a good point. He'd make a historic victory because it would be the first ever African American Universal Champion.
That's true.
So that's cool right there too.
That's true, but Roman's still the guy they want as the champion to beat Brock, yet I don't know if it's gonna happen. I'll believe it when I see it. Because it's just really hard to believe. Alright. It's really hard to believe that would happen. Especially with Brock going into UFC.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Do they want him going in as Universal Champion or don't they?
That would be cool.
If they do, then Brock's retaining. And then we have another 6 months of Brock as champion with the Universal title as hostage.
I mean, at least with Brock having all this time off, you would think, he is training to get in the octagon, so Vince will probably be like, just make sure you win.
Yeah, that's another thing. If Brock loses, then, I mean, do we have Braun Strowman cash in at the UFC pay-per-view?
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. That would be worth it if Brock retains, just to see Braun Strowman cash in. However, we also found out that Braun Strowman's going to be defending his Money in the Bank contract against Kevin Owens at SummerSlam.
I think Kevin Owens going to win it, actually.
Kevin Owens might actually win it, so Braun Strowman might not actually be.
Especially because of the conditions that were put on the match. If he gets DQ'd, he can
Yeah, absolutely. If he gets DQ'd, counted out, Kevin Owens wins it. So, I agree. I don't know how I feel about this. If they're gonna have Brock Roman, just have Roman win it already. Just so I don't have to see Brock anymore.
So, Braun defending that briefcase is the same night, right?
It's at SummerSlam.
Okay, so Kevin Owens winning would make sense.
Kevin Owens winning and possibly cashing in that night could happen. It could also happen where Braun Strowman retains and then cashes in that night. It could go very different ways.
I mean, I like the stipulation because then it still makes him look strong that he wasn't defeated truly, like the way, like legitimately.
Strowman?
Yeah, winning by DQ. Kevin Owens winning.
Yeah.
Because
it could be like, yeah.
Braun is strong enough to where he
Right.
doesn't need a briefcase to get a title shot. He'll get there.
That's true. No, he'll be fine without it. He would be a contender next in line after Roman wins it or whoever takes it off Brock. Strowman could be that next guy.
Because then it'll be funny, you know. Roman finally wins it, but he gets cheated all over.
And I have a feeling if Roman does win it, that might actually happen. And then it's just like, well, we're going to have to see Roman in the WrestleMania main event again.
And that's what makes him snap to turn heel.
I don't know. I feel like they might just do the same thing where he just earns another spot at main event WrestleMania, and then he just goes for it again. I don't know. It's tough to tell these days what they're gonna do. But that's the Universal title scene. That's a mess. We did get another title match confirmed from the Monday Night Raw side, where it will be Seth Rollins taking on Dolph Ziggler in a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. He did pin Dolph in a tag team match with Finn taking on McIntyre and Ziggler on Raw, so he will now face Dolph for that title. And it should be a great match. So good for Seth. And I could see Seth winning it again. Maybe. I could see it. From the SmackDown side, we found out the WWE Championship #1 contender, Samoa Joe, because he attacked AJ Styles from behind after we found out James Ellsworth got fired, by the way, in case you didn't know. So someone actually did get released, but he wasn't under a real contract, you know.
It was too soon for Samoa Joe, AJ.
No, I think it's perfect. What else were they going to do with Joe?
WrestleMania.
What were they going to do with Joe until then, though?
I'll put him in the tag division for now.
Tag division?
Yeah.
No, what?
Have him help somebody else for now.
Oh, no. Joe's been on
this
the
way he could kind of butt heads with Sanity.
Yeah, no, but they're both heels.
Because, I mean, they already messed up by having Sanity lose a match.
Sanity's lost 3 matches already.
I know, but they lost the most important one to go for the tag titles. Again.
I feel like they're going to feud with the New Day. I think New Day's they're going to lose next week or the week after, and then they'll feud with Sanity again. In like another stellar match, like an official 6-man tag at SummerSlam or something. But no, Joe has been in limbo for like last year and a half. Like, he's been in some good feuds, I guess, but nothing really major.
So he's still considered a heel.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That promo he cut backstage in front of Paige was very much a heel. It was a great promo. Samoa Joe and Styles are gonna give us a great match at SummerSlam. SummerSlam is also the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, so you have to think of it that they have to put their best. You know, it's behind WrestleMania, so you gotta put everything, you gotta go all in on this. So, we found out that Becky Lynch will be competing for the SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella. She did defeat Carmella this week. And so we could see another title change there. I am concerned with Asuka. She defeated one of the Iconics, Billie Kay, but it feels like they just kind of left her with, you know, she lost her SmackDown title opportunities. Every single one. It's like she was undefeated for 2 years. Like, what's going on? I have a feeling she will be competing, however, against Charlotte at SummerSlam, maybe, to get her win from WrestleMania back. So maybe something there. Other than that, I don't think any other matches have been confirmed for SummerSlam. The Bar did make a return. Next week it will be the Bar versus the Usos in that tag team title tournament. The winners will take on the New Day, and the winners of that match will take on Bludgeon Brothers at SummerSlam. So I feel like it's either going to be the Bar or the Usos to take on Bludgeon Brothers. Huh.
Oh yeah.
Any other SummerSlam talk? We got Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss. Rousey wasn't there obviously because she was still suspended. She will be back, we assume, next week. But who knows? It hasn't been confirmed.
I wonder if there'll be any celebrity involvement.
I would think they would have to start now if they were to have anything. I could see someone in the crowd, but I don't think they would have.
Yeah, it's something because I've been watching old footage lately in WWE for the network. But I was looking at some Sable stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She used the F5 before Brock showed up.
Really?
That's,
Really? It was an F5?
Yeah.
Huh.
But I don't think they called it that, but...
That's funny. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, she won a match with an F5.
For those of you that don't know, Sable is Brock Lesnar's wife. And of course a WWE legend. Is she a Hall of Famer? I don't think she is.
No.
No. You mentioned celebrity involvement. David Arquette, have you heard?
Oh yeah, he went to Hollywood.
He's been championship wrestling in Hollywood or something like that.
Yeah.
He's been wrestling. He's been having a couple matches. He's actually legitimately, I saw a video of him doing the diamond cutter.
Wow.
So he's legitimately doing this thing.
And they talk about him quite a bit on the network too, about that incident when he won.
When he won the WCW championship. So he's trying to, and it was not his fault. You know, he mentioned that he didn't want to be WCW champion. But that was kind of what creative had for him, Vince Russo's idea. But he is legitimately trying to, legitimize himself as a wrestler. He's in his 40s, I believe. So
I mean, that's a good way to get on the map to hopefully come back to WWE now.
Yeah, in some capacity. I mean, obviously he's not going to be competing for any title, but
it won't be the main belt. But how interesting would it be if they decide to put him in the front?
It'll be like a celebrity match that they usually have if they do have him back. A celebrity match at WrestleMania or SummerSlam or something like that. Kind of like a one-time thing, I think. But that's really cool that he's doing that. He seems to be enjoying it, and so good for him. I believe we discussed pretty much all our news on this packed episode 60 of Beyond the Ropes. We've had so many great moments over the years. It's been a couple of years already, so it's been over the years already for us.
Oh yeah.
At season 4. We're continuing our season this fall. I don't know what else we could discuss.
Yeah. Did you see the latest? What was the latest table for 3 years? It had Ric Flair, Sting, Kurt Angle.
Did you catch it?
Yeah.
How was that?
That was pretty cool. I like when it opened up. Ric Flair said he's joined by his oldest son and his hero.
His oldest son. Who is it again?
So he's saying that Sting is his oldest son and that Kurt's his hero.
That's funny.
And he talks about during his time in his coma.
Oh yeah.
It was very interesting. He talked about how he was in a coma for a while and he was supposed to go to SummerSlam. And during this coma, he dreamed that he was already in. That he went through the whole thing.
That's right. He was supposed to be the KFC character, and Shawn Michaels replaced him. That's how we got HBKFC. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and then he said that then he was dreaming that he thought he was active again with the Four Horsemen.
Wow.
Really interesting stuff. Then he dreamed that he thought that his daughter got married again.
Charlotte Flair, correct? Or is it a different daughter?
No, I'm pretty sure he was talking about probably Charlotte.
Because he has another one.
Yeah, well, that's really something, to hear how bad, his health was at the time. He couldn't even open a bottle.
Well, he just had surgery again.
Yeah.
Recently, and it went well. So good to hear.
They were talking about their favorite matches that each other had.
Yeah, Sting and Flair had a number of great matches together.
Oh yeah, and even Kurt. It turned out that Kurt had a match with Ric Flair years ago, and it's interesting because when it first started, Kurt talked about how he wished he had a one-on-one match with him, but it turned out they did have one a few years prior when he first kind of started again in WWE, Ric Flair.
Really?
And they lasted like 16 minutes. So that was pretty interesting. That Ric Flair talks about how, behind the scenes during that match, he kept wanting Kurt Angle to throw him out the ring, and really it was because he was getting out of breath.
Huh. That's funny. And we know obviously Kurt and Sting have had matches in TNA.
Oh yeah,
So they
probably
have
the best
history.
matches of the career there too.
Absolutely. And they were a team together under the main event Mafia.
That's a good stable you'd imagine if only they could like kind of recreate.
Well, I mean, none of them are wrestling anymore. I mean,
Well, I mean, Kevin Nash, he's rehabbing. He seems to be doing pretty good. The problem is
Scott Steiner would never go back to WWE, and I don't think they would want him back to WWE. Also,
Oh, man.
Booker T he could, but
and Joe's there.
Joe could. Yeah, obviously Joe's the only active one.
Yeah, although some people were like iffy about him being in it.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone else was kind of a legend from elsewhere, WCW or WWE. So you kind of had that name brand. Samoa Joe was just a TNA guy at that point. So, but yeah, really cool. I'll check that out on the WWE Network. Of course, there's the Elias on Bourbon Street if you want to check that out. And this coming Monday, a little bit of a teaser for you. Brock Lesnar will be live, hopefully live. That's what they said. We'll find out if that's what they're going to go with, or they're going to go the direction that they did last time where he says he's going to be there and then he changes his mind just to get heat on him. But we'll find that out. And then we're going to have the return of Ronda Rousey possibly. Her suspension is up. And then more SummerSlam updates. We will have the Walk with Elias documentary exclusively on the WWE Network following Monday Night Raw. We have SmackDown Live to look forward to. That tag team tournament will continue. And we're going to have more feuds happening for the WWE title. Obviously Samoa Joe and AJ Styles will continue to feud there. And Carmella and Becky Lynch for that SmackDown Women's Championship. And then NXT, the fallout from this past week. Major fallout. So, got another couple minutes.
Yep.
Anything else we're missing? I feel like we're missing something.
I'm
Any
surprised they haven't added any more photo shoot. That's a pretty good show too.
Oh yeah, the photo shoot on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
What was the last one? It was...
I don't know if it was Goldust or was it Kofi.
I think it was Goldust.
That was
the last one I
interesting
saw, I think.
When they went to Hollywood and all that.
I just got some news here. Hold on here. Apparently, there are rumors that The Rock is being talked about for a possible WrestleMania 35 match.
That would be something considering, isn't he going to be on Shazam?
He's not going to be in that movie.
Or it's a
He's
sequel
going to have his
kind of.
own solo movie.
Oh, okay, the Black.
He is
right.
Black Adam. He's the villain of Shazam. But he's going to have his own solo movie first, and then I think they're going to...
Because I already saw the trailer
Right.
for the Shazam one.
Right.
It's pretty good.
No, it looks funny. I saw that, yeah. But The Rock, apparently, so I'm going to read this here from WrestlingNews.com. The Rock could appear at WrestleMania as long as there is no scheduling conflict. The thing that has prevented him from doing more matches in recent years has been the insurance coverage he gets for movies. Movie studios do not want to risk him getting injured because they would delay filming. That is why his last match was at WrestleMania 32, and why it was so short. You know, that 6-second match against Eric Rowan. He is 46 years old, so he might be seeing the window closing for him since the risk for injury increases as he gets older. A match at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey area would be a great place for him to return. So,
I mean, he's wanted Brock Lesnar.
Huh?
He's wanted Brock Lesnar for a while.
He's wanted that. I don't know if Brock will still be under contract by then, though. Especially if he loses the title
Yeah.
SummerSlam. So, yeah, that's big news to head out on our 60th episode. That's obviously a rumor, but, you know, we like to spread that word out. And until next time, I guess we'll be signing off. Once again, you can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. You can find us on Twitter at EthanNB95 and
Rob Flores Media.
And we want to say for the 60th time, thank you for tuning in. And this episode it has just been too sweet and is about to be deleted.